In the freezing winter of 1984, deep in the Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, a secret military project was quietly shut down. It was buried beneath snow, silence, and concrete. Officials erased all records, ordered everyone involved to disappear or stay silent, and labeled it a failed radar experiment. But that wasn't the truth. The truth was that they made contact. And it wasn't with anything from this world. The project was codenamed Sfera 13. Officially, it was meant to test long-range radar communications that could bounce signals off the ionosphere. But behind closed doors, only a handful of high-ranking KGB officers and military scientists knew its real purpose: to simulate alien signals using a machine that mimicked what extraterrestrial communication might sound like, to bait something out there into responding. They weren't trying to contact aliens. They were trying to fake it, until the day the signal answered back. It started with Dr. Alexei Rudenko, a physicist known for his work on electromagnetic field manipulation. He believed that certain frequencies, when combined with mathematical patterns based on prime numbers and ancient harmonic codes, could trigger a reaction from deep space. He called it resonant coding. Most scientists laughed at the idea, but the Soviet military didn't. They gave Rudenko full access to an underground facility near Lake Plesetsk. A team of linguists, mathematicians, and engineers worked day and night to construct a signal they believed would be convincing enough to mimic alien communication. It was artificial, man-made. The plan was to broadcast it into deep space and then monitor for any unusual responses, even if they were just random cosmic noise. For 5 months, they heard nothing. Just silence and static. But on the night of November 9, 1984, the system picked up a return signal. It was faint but clear, a pattern of tones and pulses matching the exact structure of the message they sent. At first, the team thought it was just an echo. But then something strange happened. The response included new data, sequences they hadn't sent. Embedded in the signal was a map of star coordinates and symbols no one could translate. The next day, the base went into full lockdown. Guards surrounded the compound. Orders came from Moscow: no one in, no one out. Dr. Rudenko was summoned by General Makarov, the officer overseeing Sfera 13. The general didn't speak. He only slid a folder across the table. Inside were satellite images of a remote forest in Siberia, just north of Yakutsk. The photos showed something impossible: a perfect circle of burned trees over 300 meters wide. The satellite had captured it only hours after they received the signal. The general looked at Rudenko and said one word: coincidence. Rudenko shook his head. He knew this was a response. Something had heard their signal, and it had marked Earth with its presence. Within 48 hours, a special team was sent to the location. What they found made several of them leave the project immediately. In the center of the burn circle was a black, stone-like object, half buried in snow. It was cold to the touch but gave off low-frequency vibrations. It had no markings, no seams, no signs of construction, as if it wasn't built, but simply formed. When they tried to move it, it wouldn't budge. Not with cranes, not with explosives. Then came the dreams. Every night, members of the team reported the same exact dream: a vast empty space, a deep mechanical humming, and a voice speaking in no known language, yet every dreamer understood it. It wasn't a speech. It was thought pushed into their minds. The message was always the same. You called. We heard. We are arriving. When Moscow was informed, panic followed. The KGB stepped in, silenced the team, and ordered the object buried under concrete and classified as meteorite debris. But Rudenko wasn't convinced the message had come from space. He started to suspect something darker, that the signal hadn't reached out to aliens, but had triggered something buried on Earth. Something ancient. In early 1985, he broke protocol and snuck copies of the signal data to a trusted colleague in Kiev, a linguist named Daria Koltsova. She analyzed the embedded symbols and made a chilling discovery. The mathematical structure of the message matched an ancient Sumerian pattern found on clay tablets over 5,000 years old. How could an alien response contain human history? Unless the signal wasn't alien at all. Rudenko proposed a theory so dangerous he was immediately placed under surveillance: that the Earth had been seeded with artificial intelligence thousands of years ago, buried in remote parts of the planet, dormant until triggered. Sfera 13 signal was the key. It hadn't contacted beings. It had awakened an ancient network. 1 month later, Rudenko vanished. Official reports said he died in a car accident. His body was never shown. Koltsova went missing weeks later. Her apartment was found empty, her notes burned. Sfera 13 was shut down. The underground facility was flooded with cement, and all remaining staff were sent to different parts of the Soviet Union, never to speak of the project again. For decades, the story was dismissed as rumor, a Cold War myth. But in 2009, a declassified Soviet memo appeared on a leaked database. The memo referenced Project Sfera 13 and mentioned a phrase in red ink, encoded response received. Artifact secured. Site silent since '84. That same year, satellite images from Siberia showed the burn circle had reappeared, same diameter, same coordinates, but this time with 3 stone objects in a triangle. No explanation was given. In 2013, an American intelligence contractor claimed in an anonymous interview that a joint U.S.-Russian task force was monitoring these sites, not just in Russia, but in Greenland, Argentina, and beneath the Pacific Ocean. All tied to resonant contact points. All seemingly inactive, for now. The theory spreading among fringe scientists today is terrifying, that humanity didn't create alien contact, we accidentally reactivated an ancient machine. One not of this world, but placed here to be found at the right moment in time. And that moment has already passed. Some say the hum can still be heard if you stand near the old Sfera 13 site during the winter solstice. Others claim there are still people out there, receivers, who hear the thoughts of the machines in their dreams. One former KGB officer, now in hiding, was asked in a documentary if he believed the contact was real. He didn't answer directly. He only said, "It was not aliens we contacted. It was something older than them." And then he added, with a trembling voice, "We called out to the stars, but something beneath our feet answered first."